I don't know nothing about Arc Raiders, and I've been hearing that this game is super popular, and I'm gonna check out the Arc Raiders story and lore explained. What happened to Earth, and who are the Ark? I don't know nothing about this. Let's check it out.
Have you ever wondered what the Ark robots actually are? Well, how about what happened
It seems kind of like a solar punk version of Helldivers 2.
to the world itself? Are there any other human settlements? Why do raiders go topside and so on? Well, there's actually a bunch of really cool and interesting lore that the game doesn't really tell you unless you go looking for it. While we aren't a lore channel, we do love a good world and story. We love learning more about the games we enjoy playing and getting an understanding of the story behind them and what we're experiencing while playing. So we thought some of you may want to know what exactly is going on too.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Blasting all of those rat players away and all of those don't shoot emotes that you hear. So let's dive in and answer some burning questions to better understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna get this game or not. I hear a lot of people saying that they love it, but I heard the same thing with Helldivers.
Ark Raiders. Do tell us if you
and I'm not really a fan of Helldivers.
Like this kind of video. Would you like more lore videos or just our usual guides? We'll go with whatever gets the most votes below. And while there is a lot of fun theories and information out there, this video is made using official lore and codex entries, so hopefully we can pass this information along correctly. So first we have to start by understanding the different eras that the world went through before the Ark showed up. This brings us to the collapse, a time said to—
This looks like Marathon just shit the bed, man. Like, this is what Marathon could have been. It's something like this. This is a million times better.
Have happened many generations.
Like, this is how you do interior. It's not blocky. It's not weird and like a claymation looking.
Ago, where various combinations
normal
of
colors,
devastating
normal lighting,
natural disasters
like this shit looks natural.
Synchronized together to rid the Earth of her inhabitants, wiping out most evidence of what life was like before. From floods to scorching fires and earthquakes, it was terrible. It was a devastating event, and
not awesome if that was to actually happen.
Much before that is even known outside of the remains of previous civilizations that we see, like the now abandoned, buried, and forgotten cities on the surface. And this includes the buried city map itself that you've probably played on. This was recently—
I have not played this game.
Uncovered by strong winds, revealing parts of the city, which was once known as Murano before the collapse, and you can see this in the signs around the city itself. But there was still hope for people after the collapse. It's said that some societies survived, though after generations of darkness and decay, their tales have merged together with those of legends and lies. But this wasn't the fate of all—
This kind of reminds me of Fallout meets The Walking Dead. Little bit, but without zombies.
Humans, as there was also an historic event called the Exodus. You see, technology was fairly well advanced before the collapse, and space travel was just becoming an option for those who could afford it, seemingly—
Yeah, that's too bad, man.
Through a company called Acera. They say it's said that the world collapsed and a handful of valorous survivors managed to escape the destruction into outer space, boarding marvels of technology now long—
That just looks so good. It's like post-apocalyptic solar punk. That's the only thing I could describe it as.
Lost to the devastation. The cool part of this is that it ties into the spaceport map that we actually play on. You actually get to see an example of a launch tower that was used to fire those rockets off into space. They say, visible from miles away, the launch towers are a colossal monument to the fabled Exodus. They mark the end of what must have been an era of unimaginable technological progress, an era nearly impossible to imagine.
And the character reminds me of No Man's Sky mixed with the Division. And this isn't Unreal Engine, is it? Because it definitely doesn't look like it.
For those
who— you can usually tell when something's using Unreal Engine, and this does not look like Unreal Engine. They might have made their own engine.
Gaze upon the towers today. This is where the Exodus shuttles, vessels of hope and desperation, once roared into the heavens, leaving Earth behind. And well, this is particularly cool, because while we're currently playing across different areas of Earth, we know there are surviving people out there in space. Perhaps in the future we might get maps in space, on space
That'd be cool.
stations, or even something like the
I like space stuff. This seems very interesting to me.
moon. That really
I've never actually played like an extraction shooter. That's what I'm hearing this game is.
would be something. Another cool thing to know about the Exodus is the network of tunnels, tubes, and extract points that
That's
we
cool.
use in-game to ride
It's gonna be like Metro down there.
out to the different map locations, and these were actually built during the Exodus's construction efforts for
Oh, that's
transporting
crazier.
tons of
It's crazier than Metro.
materials between major sites, creating a vast network of cargo elevators and rapid transport systems, which have now been
That's cool.
repurposed and integrated into a
We
civilian
used to get a lot of these underground rail systems and these rail systems for transportation in video games. Whatever happened to that? Well, I guess we're getting it back here.
metro line.
Like BioShock, Dead Space, Metro.
With what I imagine to be the wealthy and elite gone from the Earth into outer space, and most of the Earth's population wiped out through the collapse, things were looking dire. But then came the Age of Sunrise. It's still remembered by those old enough who still live. They say generations after the collapse, this new era was marked by signs of restoration of the planet's ecology, as well as the rediscovery of old technology, and even some degree of organized society. You see, it was a time of optimism, when things started looking good once again, and many believed the worst was behind them, and they could rebuild and live
It's also kind of given me some lit up Resident Evil 6 vibes.
instead of just surviving. Through this program,
Like if you put more lights on in Resident Evil 6 and maybe make it more post-apocalyptic. I don't know. It looks really good. It looks like a lot of things that I like.
those that survived started to rebuild and improve their lives. And it's during this time that the hydroponic domes were built to make
And I also like post-apocalyptic worlds. Damn it, I might have to try this out. I don't know. Maybe try it out a couple hours. I could refund it if I don't like it.
people less reliant on gathering food. We can actually see and explore these domes in the Dam Battlegrounds map. They say they're situated in the fetid swamp by the Alcantara Dam. The hydroponic domes are both makeshift and more recent than the other structures in the area. It is said they've been built during the era of Sunrise, an optimistic experiment to turn society less reliant on gathered roots, mushrooms, and berries. So humanity had a brief pause and a breather between all of the disasters, and then, well, things went from bad to worse. The Ark arrived in a historic event known as the First Wave, said to be burnt into the memories of those who lived to tell the tale.
Kind of reminds me of the story of the 100 before the Earth exploded.
You see,
Spoilers.
Ark robots began raining down from the skies in large numbers, wiping out
I highly recommend that show, by the way. I love that show.
any semblance of progress and stability from the era of Sunrise. The first wave Ark, however, were very different from those we fight in-game now. They were completely rudimentary, and the first raiders very quickly found and targeted their weaknesses. They even built an extensive network of outposts and defensive structures
They definitely got some inspiration from Terminator Salvation, which, by the way, underrated movie.
to help support their resistance, many of which are still seen topside in the maps now. Furthermore, if you've ever wondered why the Ark robots are called Ark, well, it's because those who are topside are referring to the Ark-shaped
That looks like the Atari logo.
display on their radar systems when they fly in from orbit, which leaves an arc on the monitor, hence the robots being called Ark. While it isn't known for sure, raiders have speculated on why the Ark have showed up and what their purpose is. What we do know from the Codex is that they have widely been observed probing the soil in great numbers, before harvesting natural resources with devastating efficiency. We can actually see this in the harvest event
It
in
looks like a Fashion Souls is going to be a pretty big deal.
game. It's a big
I like me some Fashion Souls as long as I don't have to pay for a bunch of skins.
structure guarded by a giant queen Ark that gathers resources to send back into orbit. Some have also theorized that the Ark were created by the humans that left to go into space and are being used to gather resources that they need, while others think they may be alien machines, so there's quite a few theories out there. But what is known for sure is that the first wave fight was a hard battle, but the raiders were resisting well, and then came the Barons, the pinnacle of the Ark machines during
That's
the
cool.
first
That's really cool. I like giant things with lights that fight.
Wave, the Barons were a 6-legged mechanical walker with an imposing appearance, powerful attacks, and surprisingly adaptive behavior. The Baron was a formidable foe for the First Wave Raiders, and after the last Baron was brought down during the First Wave, they were never seen again in the Rust Belt, although stories from afar claim that Barons are still roaming desolated parts of
That's really cool.
Calabretta. A really cool thing
I would like to have a game set in this universe that was not a multiplayer game.
Is that you can actually find the ruined and rusted husks of Barons out in the in-game maps. They stand as a reminder of the impact of the First Wave. The First Wave eventually ended with the Battle of Victory Ridge, which actually happened on the Dam Battlegrounds map itself. They say the Victory Ridge is a rocky outcrop west of the Alcantara Dam. It was the scene of a fierce battle between Ark and organized raiders fighting from elevated positions along the ridge. The battle then marked the end of the First Wave. So, humanity basically beat the Ark back. But the Ark are clever and they do adapt. We know from the Codex that the Ark's security forces are constantly refining their designs and tactics in the face of new threats. And so, this brings us to now, when we play, during what is called the Second Wave, a return of the Ark robots.
There's definitely going to be a third wave, right?
But this time they've been improved and upgraded.
It's going to be much worse. Going to be giant robots everywhere.
The rudimentary machines of the First Wave,
like giant,
were nothing compared to the now sophisticated designs of the Second. This forced humanity to hide underground, leading to a constant arms race between Raiders and Ark. Much of the gear we actually use in-game is the result of reverse-engineered Ark tech. We know that inventors across Toledo have sought to repurpose Ark technology.
So there's like an in-game story going on while you do all this? So it's not just like a jump in, jump out kind of military shooter game?
In a way
that's
to
very
stay
interesting.
Ahead, leading to the development of energy-based shields and various makeshift gadgets and grenades. So it's pretty cool that the shields we get in-game are actually made from Ark tech. And then we have Speranza, the oldest neighborhood of the underground city of Toledo. It was established as an independent settlement at the start of the Second Wave.
Toledo, Ohio?
And it was built into old subterranean infrastructure and buildings that were swallowed by sinkholes in the past. But the entire underground city of Toledo is much bigger, and it's made up of a patchwork collection of secluded neighborhoods that are isolated communities as they're very far away from each other and separated by rubble. They tend to look out for their own, but they have been known to collaborate together in the past. And this is where we as Raiders,
if they turn this into a single-player RPG, they could rival Fallout.
Come in. We are the only source of rare goods for most of the inhabitants of Toledo. But with these different isolated neighborhoods, it's caused raiders to become territorial and hostile to each other. And this is reflected in the...
That's just what humans do, man. They look at each other, they're just like, hey, you're not me.
PvP of the game. Everyone is out for themselves and their community, trying to get the best loot back home, even if it means taking it off another raider. So there is some really cool lore behind the world, the Ark robots, the maps, and the things we encounter in-game. It's been really fun diving into all of this and learning.
Yeah, everything about this seems like something I'd be into, and it seems really cool. I just don't know about that gameplay. I'm going to have to check out the gameplay, I think, after this.
More about the game, so do tell us if you want more lore videos
I do.
Or just more
I like the lore.
Guides. We're happy to do either. And if you enjoyed this, a quick like is a great way to support us as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, that was a really good video. Did I like this already? Yeah, I did. Rex Gaming. Cool. I'm going to subscribe.